heading out of Collie. I feel like I say this every time I leave a town, but I think the pack's the heaviest it's been. I did pack a few extra food items this time, thought I had a bit more variety. Had some pretty decent food in Collie. Kept going to this place called Barnsley's Cafe, which is pretty good, but I do have to take a mark off and give them 4 out of 5 stars because the playlist was just remixes and covers. And oh my god, like there's something wrong with people that listen to remixes and covers and that's all they listen to. That's just, it's insanity. It's like that like parallel evil universe from Star Trek. It's like what is going on? Back at the junction, continuing on Bibbulmun North. Passed another hiker just now asking about the Bibbulmun plains again and saying that they were considering skipping it and all this. I think there's a bit of fear mongering going around, word of mouth. You know, if someone says something about needing to swim and then everyone starts getting worried and thinking it's too dangerous or something. It's really a bit disappointing that that seems to go on. I'm still A few weeks ago I was talking to this lady who's quite a experienced through hiker, and she said that it's the first 4 weeks that really test people, and some people will pull out, but if you make it to 4 weeks you're pretty likely to see it through to the end and to enjoy it from then on. And I'm in my 4th week now, day 31, and I can attest to that personally. You know, the first few weeks there I was feeling this quite strong pull to leave the hike. It's all really past now, and I really feel like I've settled into the hike and the hiking lifestyle quite a lot now. Harris Dam campsite. Quite a lot of tables at this one. Yeah, a bit of a bigger one. Anyways, but it's only about 11:30, so grab some food and press on. I've refilled on cheese and peanut butter, and I'm heading on to Dwellingup campsite. Also, I am looking forward to the scenery changing at some point. I'm not sure when exactly that'll come up. Sometime in the next few days, I think. But bush off bush, forest off forest. It does all kind of just blend together, and you don't really feel or see much change compared to when you've got an actual view over the landscape. Just past some interesting characters. Guy with no shirt on and a funky looking stick as a walking stick, and the other guy's just got a cotton shirt but overweight with a normal non-hiking backpack and a foam roller, and so he's got a bung knee and he's trying to triple hut over 50 k's to get back to Collie. I'm going to try hitchhiking at some road further up ahead. I don't think we're going to have much luck doing that, but yeah, I haven't seen many strange folk, but for the first time seeing someone who I'm a little bit like, don't think you know what you're doing, don't think you should be out here. Struggled them a little bit this afternoon, about 3.5 k's from camp. It's just very monotonous terrain. So I got a little bit more intel on those strange two guys that I passed. Yeah, one of them's got quite a bad knee, but he was refusing to take ibuprofen, and he's on a carnivore-only diet, so he's brought 800 grams of jerky, and he hasn't got a proper backpack. He's just got like a school backpack, and they didn't bring a tent, and they're just like sleeping in the shelter, and they're freezing, and they're not getting any sleep because they don't have a proper mat. And yeah, they were trying to do 56 kilometers yesterday. If you're looking at what I'm doing or what other people are doing, and you're like, hey, that's awesome, I want to go and push myself into a 1,000-kilometer hike, then like, awesome, do it. But work up to it, don't jump right in there. You know, depending on your fitness level and your experience, just go out and do a 5k day hike. Go out and do a 7k, 10k. Do one that's a bit hillier. Buy yourself a proper overnight hiking pack, one with a hip belt, not a school bag, and put a bit of weight in it and walk with that. Get it adjusted. Investigate some gear. Do a single one-nighter overnight hike. And keep the distances less than what you would normally do on a day hike. Do 2 nights. Do it somewhere a bit further from home, somewhere a bit more difficult. Do a solo one, you know, and then eventually do a week-long one. And then by then, you're probably experienced enough to be able to confidently go out and do something like this. Don't just fill a school bag with jerky and not bring a tent and start walking. Obviously. Feeling a little bit groggy and tired this morning, feeling a little bit weak and lethargic. I've made myself my little iced coffee in my peanut butter jar and trying to wake up a little bit. I was contemplating doing 40 k's today, but I don't think it's going to be a 40k day. Now that I'm getting down to the last 300 or so kilometers, the last 2 weeks of the trip, I've really started to notice a change in the demeanor of the end-to-enders coming the other way. So whereas at the start of the trip, when I was a little newbie passing people that had done 900 k's, they were all double-hudding, they were full of energy, and they were very keen and enthusiastic about the whole thing. I'm now passing people that are, I mean, it varies, but some of them seem very doubtful about continuing or doing the whole thing. More and more people talk about skipping the Pingerup Plains. There's a guy back there that was pretty adamant about doing it. They worry about occurring injuries, they're tired, and certain aspects that they're not enjoying. And this is pretty similar to how I was feeling in the first 2 weeks, to be honest. Having said that, I am feeling low energy today. I think I was a little bit queasy, a little bit off yesterday, and probably didn't eat enough. I mean, I didn't have lunch to start doing 33k, so that's pretty silly, isn't it? So yeah, I think just 20k's today, have a big lunch. Not sure if I've mentioned, but I don't listen to any audiobooks or music or podcasts while I'm walking. It's just walking, which is why When the terrain's super repetitive like this, it does start to weigh on me a little bit, and I find myself looking forward to it opening up and seeing something a little different. I feel like my brain's kind of going to mush. Like sometimes when people talk about these big through hikes, they say that their brain wanders into, their mind wanders into all these different places and they start thinking about things I haven't thought about in years. But no, I feel like my brain just keeps playing the same song on repeat for the last like 2 weeks and won't do anything else. Just passed someone that I originally passed about 2 weeks ago coming into Northcliffe, who is now kind of like jumping around doing different parts of the trail because when they headed into the Pingrot Plains just after I left them, they got flooded out. Like Mount Chance, a tree came down near it, they had 60-kilometre-hour winds and there was water in the shelter. Oh my, it's really quite crazy just how much it can change just a few days, and in many ways how lucky I've been with the weather overall. One K out from Possum Springs, which is the destination for today, only 20 Ks. And for once I'm actually looking forward to getting into camp early and chilling out. Just been a little bit low energy today, and it's Possum Springs. Campsite's a bit more familiar. That's what I'm used to. Having a real gourmet lunch today. I'm just going to tell 4 ingredients. We've got the wrap, avocado, tuna, which is the tomato and onion, and parmesan cheese as well. So, yeah. I decided to head off early this morning, 5 in the morning. Just woke up and just thought, let's do it. First time leaving before the sunrise, which was nice. Had about 5 or 6 of these dirt bikers that turned up last night at about 5 PM at the shelter, and not meant to be dirt biking around here obviously, and the littering and that kind of thing. I doubt they'll pick up all their rubbish in the morning. And I was sleeping in hammocks and it started raining a bit overnight, so I imagine they're probably not going to be in the best mood this morning, so I thought, well, let's just duck out early and get away from all that nonsense. So apparently it's a difficult hilly day today and you wouldn't want to double hut it, so not sure if anyone else can remember Lano and Woodley, but I got a feeling, got a bit of an inkling, this is gonna be one of those days. I really wish that the lighting, the dim glow of the sun rising that you experience between 5:30 AM and 6 AM out here, and all the birds waking up and chirping, I wish that just lasted for a few hours instead of you only getting it for like 20 minutes. Bye. I imagine that the industrial hum is coming through now. I was hearing this all of last night, about 10 k's away, and must be getting pretty close now to the conveyor belt, which everyone was telling me about. So there's the mining conveyor belt I was hearing all of last night. Of industry. Actually raining. I really didn't think it was going to rain. Someone back at the previous shelter suggested that it was going to rain today, and I just dismissed that as nonsense. But they're right, it's actually raining a bit, but I really don't think this is going to last very long. It's kind of nice, to be honest. That's cool, that's a pretty big bridge, definitely the biggest one I've seen. Coming into Dwellingup campsite after 22 k's and it's only 9:30 a.m. It will be pretty amusing if there's still people at the camp. Well, that's Dwellingup campsite as predicted. There were some other people here just packing up and leaving, but they're just doing a one night or overnight, just a bit of training, so yeah. Well, that was a nice long lunch break. I was there for like 40 minutes, made myself another one of those nice wraps from yesterday with the tuna, avocado and cheese. Finished off my block of parmesan cheese, had some nuts, feeling refueled, ready to push on 18 k's to Murray campsite. I think there's going to be a little bit more elevation. I mean, it says only 300 meters, which is fine, but I think it might be a bit steeper in some parts. I think we're going to start getting into the hills at the other end of this 1,000-kilometer journey. It is quite interesting how much my energy levels fluctuate and my mood fluctuates. You know, yesterday it was only 20 k's and it was an easier hike than what I just did. I got in at 11 a.m. and I found that more difficult, and I was sort of feeling a bit down. I wasn't enjoying the terrain, I just wasn't in the right headspace. Today I just smashed out that 22 k's, you know, that 4.5 hours felt like half an hour, and I feel like I'm almost starting a fresh day here going into the next 18 k's. I've been experimenting a little bit with lunchtime food because it's the one I find the trickiest to figure out on these longer days. There's times when I've not had a proper lunch, I've had like a scoop of peanut butter, and I feel great. I just think I'm not getting enough calories in during the day. And then there are times where I've had like a full proper cooked meal at lunch, the halfway mark for the 40k day, and yeah, it's good. I got lots of calories in. But man, it puts me to sleep for the next 2 hours. And then I think today is a good balance, you know, having like a wrap and having lots of cheese and fats, I think is actually good, because the carbs tend to put me to sleep a bit, whereas the fats, being a slow release, keep me fueled. That's the theory, at least at the moment. Just past the hiker and they were like, "Oh, you just coming from Buchanelli now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm coming from Possum Springs." Sorry, this was a little satisfying. 'It's a bit of a shame that I'm walking along the river here. It's actually called the Murray River. Of course, not the same Murray River that I'm used to, but I've barely seen it at all because it's very thick. Just bushes all the way through. It's really one of these green tunnels, and just can't see anything. It feels a little bit like I'm on a treadmill. It's been like this for the past, I don't know, 6 kilometres, and I expect it's going to continue much the same for the next 8 into camp. "35 k's in, it's 1 p.m, it's been about 8 hours. Got 5 more k's to get to Murray campsite. I was told it was a pretty difficult day, lots of hills, not really sure where the hills are. Well, okay, there were a few little hills, but I think the Adelaide Hills has really trained me very well, you know. Like across this whole hike, there's never been anything that's even as difficult as lofty. I'm really getting the impression that I have trained more for this hike than almost anyone else that I've come across. And of course there are some of those super fit people that I've talked about, those people that do through hike after through hike, but you know, they haven't trained for this hike, they're just, this is what they do. But other people are in a similar boat to me in terms of, this is the first through hike. And there's a lady at back at the other camp that said she didn't have much hiking experience. I'm amazed, absolutely amazed. People will jump into something like this with minimum experience, but then again, I've found this considerably easier than I thought it would be physically, so maybe I'm wrong and they're right, and this just isn't sort of that difficult of a thing to do once your body adapts to it. Alright, just after I complained that there was no hills, there's a hill within 3 k's of camp, because that's how the rule goes. I'm really glad I got out of those green tunnels for the last few kilometres here into camp and get this nice ridge line. It's so much nicer being able to just look over the landscape and see what's around me instead of just a constant blur of trees. Looking for scraps.
There'd be other males, but they'll be brown, and the females are brown too. So there's only a single.
Had a nice little afternoon at Murray campsite yesterday, which was right on the Murray River, and I went for a little swim. But I was a little disappointed because I walked 750 kilometers without stacking it, without falling over, and I went to get in the water and I slipped and fell right on my ass. So, don't know if that counts. I feel it probably does count as stacking it, even though I wasn't hiking while I was doing it. It feels pretty crazy that I'm already coming to Dwellingup, and I'm approaching the final section. I started planning out the final section, and I'm thinking about doing it in 7 or maybe even 6 days, when my original plan was 9 days. So there's a lot of these sort of corporate events now where people try to get their steps up, and they do a bit of a competition where they see who can do the most steps in a month or something like that. And people have been telling me that they see people report things like 80,000 steps a day average, and I just want to call that out as total BS, because on the days that I do 40Ks, I do 50,000 steps. And I have a pretty big stride, so you can maybe say 40Ks is 60,000 steps for many people, perhaps. But anyone who's living a normal life, who's not walking 8 to 10 hours a day, is not going to be able to get above 50,000 steps. So for people to say that they're doing 80,000, that's just silly nonsense, that is. For some reason my blisters seem to have magically disappeared, which is really good. The left ankle has been giving me a little bit of issues, so I switched the ankle strap onto that ankle today, and hoping to get another ankle strap in Dwellingup. I really love walking along these ridge lines where you get a bit of a view off in the distance. Anytime that it opens up a little bit, there's a little bit of verticalness to it, I just find so much nicer than walking on sort of flat land through scrub. Now we're getting into the hills a little bit more. Got into Swamp Oak there. There's a man who's half hutting, just taking a day off at the shelter, so didn't end up worrying about filming it. It's interesting actually, I was talking to the guy there about accommodation options for Dwellingup, and he said, oh, there's plenty of options for stealth camping. So he just stayed there for 4 days camping in the bush, and you know, pretty tempting when the caravan park charges $40 a night for an unpowered site. I'm closing in on Dwellingup now, only about another 5 kilometres. Today I passed maybe 8 different groups of people, so I'm no longer stopping to chat to everyone. It's just too many at this point. So interesting when compared to my first few days on trail, when it was max 1 person a day pretty much. And you know, I was originally planning on doing this section from Collie to Dwellingup in 7 days, and I've done it now in 4 days. So really speeding up here near the end of the trip. And I think this next section from Dwellingup to Kalamunda is going to be much the same. I feel really bad because I passed some walkers just before and they asked where I came from today, and I said Dukanelli. I came from Murray. If I came from Dukanelli, then that implies I would have walked like 54 kilometres today. So I just feel a bit lousy saying such a nonsensical thing. That feeling when you've been walking for days between towns and you start passing day walkers and just have a pleasant little stroll. You know you're close to food. I'm getting close to town. I started looking up some of these nice cafes that people mentioned, and well, it's public holidays, so stuff's probably going to be closed anyway, but almost nothing's open until Wednesday, and it's Monday. Oh man, so depressing.